Thank you all for joining. Tonight's going to be pretty free-form, pretty loose. And look, if you haven't been to a poetry thing before, just know that you can sort of like celebrate and enjoy, but the general thing is to sort of click your fingers, not to interrupt anybody too much, let people flow. So that's how kind of, if you want to show some celebration during, let's go for that. It's always a nice moment. But look, if you don't know, this is the first ever Trans History Week. It's the first one that's ever existed. Which fundamentally, when the founder, Marty Davies, who's just sitting over there, woo! When she said to me in a restaurant, I've got this idea, I'm thinking about putting on an entire week where we just talk about old trans people. I said, you're not that old. But the point is that actually it is phenomenal and the reaction's been unreal. And to see this many people in a room just to hear us talk about it in our own words was the kind of theory of this. You know, actually letting trans people speak from themselves in a way that's creative and fun, because that's what we've always done as trans people and as queer people. When something doesn't exist for us, we invent it ourselves. And this is just proof of that. Now, I'm actually going to bring Marty up to just say a few words, read a few bits, and please everyone give them a huge holler, because what they've done is fucking incredible.
That was cute. Thanks, June. Welcome to Transcending Words. I just want to say, I'm going to say a few thank yous to begin, because then I don't want to do them again. I want to enjoy it. I want to get drunk on Diageo. So I want to thank Common Press and Aisha. Can we just give Aisha a round of applause at the back? Thank you. Thank you for hosting us at this incredible venue that I have so much affection for personally. I want to thank Neil, our amazing events director, and also want to thank Bella, Jessie, and of course June for just putting this night together for everybody. So can we just give them all a round of applause before we begin? Thank you. I want to thank as well Deloitte UK for sponsoring us as well, sponsoring the whole thing. They're sitting here in the middle row. Thank you. And like I said, Diageo have given us some drinks, so do drink all of the drinks. Like June said, this is the first ever poetry event that we're putting on for our new not-for-profit CIC Trans Plus History Week. And we're in Trans Plus History Week, the very first one. Isn't that cool? Hey! So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I just want to read 3 things out to you. But before I do, I just want to give a short trigger warning just before that one of the poems is about youth suicide. So if you do need to leave for the next 5 minutes, next door there's the bookshop, and then just return in 5 minutes' time. But I just wanted to flag that. So activism is a family business. To find family, we need spaces. Spaces for connection, places for restoration. In them, we create, we learn, we inspire, and that's what this poetry night is, Transcending Words. Here we form new bonds through words. We transcend me, and we become we. We spill out our souls so we can fill them up. And we do this before we march. And then we show them that we're not going anywhere. Thank you, that's the first one. So the second one is about something that's rising in importance, and it was always important, but it very much is the topic of the day, and that's intersectional justice. And it's recognizing that our liberation is a shared project. So I want to read out a poem from the poet Marwan Makhoul, and they're a Palestinian poet. In order for me to write poetry that isn't political, I must listen to the birds. And in order to hear the birds, the warplanes must be silent. That's that. And then finally, this poem I wrote when I learned in October last year that Corey Hall died by suicide. Corey Hall, a young trans person. This is called No Words. What do we say when there are no words left? yet 3 remain. Protect trans youth. Thank you.
Guess who forgot to do the trigger warning bit at the front? Look, I should have mentioned, we're trans people, we're queer people. Inherently comes with a little bit of trauma along the way, which is exciting for all of us. And I think that tonight, look, you're going to be hearing themes that are around mental health, around things like suicide, around things like trans youth, around the dickheads who live down the road in number 10. Yeah, lovely. Like a vaudevillian theatre. And look, I feel really honoured to be up here and to talk about these topics, because actually, you know what, it's something that I've realised thanks to Marty and thanks to groups and thanks to the Trans History crew, which is actually, if you can't have these conversations, you just have them with yourself. And that's when it gets bad, right? For me personally, as a person who's written poetry my whole life, I didn't know it was queer poetry until I was about 20 odd. And I rewatched 10 Things I Hate About You and I thought, they're both hot. Yeah, you know. The point is that actually I realised that when I look back on stuff, that words are so important. And I think that's why when we discussed Trans History Week, we discussed we want to do a poetry night. It was because we've got people who are here tonight, not to shout out Roz too early, who have written things that have changed our whole history and our whole world just through getting them down on paper and words. So I'm excited to hear a load of that tonight. We've got some phenomenal people who are going to be up here. We have one open mic slot left. One got taken because someone was actually amazing and has helped and has been so good, so I can't wait to hear them. And look, I every now and then write something down, and I really struggle to call myself a poet because I don't feel cool enough. Anybody who knows me knows that's exactly why I did it, okay? All right? My parents might not have given me enough love, but you will. So look, this is about some semi-heavy stuff. There's some names mentioned here that are potentially upsetting. Like I said, we have got the bookshop next door. There is nobody's going to look at you and think, oh, they've left. I can't believe they've left. No, this is a safe space. You want to go and take 5 minutes. You need a break from anything, frankly, just from me. You're welcome to just go next door and sit down. And this one, which is the one I'm going to do now, and I'll do one later. Again, I promise the one later is about my tits. I'm really building that up now, aren't I? Terrible. This is simply called Carrie. I'm going to keep stepping on that, I swear to God. On another dreary day, I saw them, discarded on Old Compton Street. Disposed from a home alone and disowned, they reminded me of we. I jogged over in my kitten heels and kneeled and reached out to say, it's okay, I've been in the gutter too. Many nights and frights, days and delays spent just where you are. Can I help you today? Chipped nails wrapped around their scarred and marred form, deeply worn from the years they've supported others through. Their silence stronger than the flimsy words I want to say about how things would get better one day. So I don't. I'm not sure I could portray it in a way they would believe anyway, so I just say, hello, Brick. I don't know my name yet, but it's a pleasure to meet you. I roll the red rectangle of liberation in my hands and feel the unmistakable indentations of subjugation. The fingerprints of Marsha P., Lou Sullivan, Ros Caveni and Marty Davies. And all those who have fought, fight and died for our rights. The clay is warm in my palm and I consider all the harm both that I could do and has been done to us. I leap to my feet, ready to yeet Brick at a poster at political candidate X, to run at number 10 and send Brick as a letter of intent, ready to smash and crash and dash blood as they have spilled ours. But Brick stops me. We've always been here, they say. Since the dawn of time, we've climbed from Mother Earth exactly as the kind of kind we are. Tears begin to stain the dusty oracle. We are emperors, scientists, innovators, artists, healers, teachers, leaders, and truth. We are so much more than violence. But hold on tight to that riot, because knowing our stories means we can never be silenced. Thank you, brick. I whispered quick. Uplift. I should have finished it there. That's what that tells me. I suck at endings. Thank you, brick. I whispered quick. Uplifted I rise and prize my life into my own hands. And since that day, I have carried brick with me. Always. As a reminder that one brick does not a wall make. Only together can we stop past mistakes becoming our future fate. Screaming, fuck the Tories, is great. But when filled with rage, brick saves, telling me again and again that with love and each other, we will never break. Thank you very much. Fair warning, genuinely true. I'm selling these necklaces soon. That's just a fucking ad. Look, our first person on tonight, I have to give a huge shout out beyond just the amazing words they're about to speak. Bella Barton, they, them, actually has been fucking instrumental in making tonight happen, along with Jessie, who unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. But seriously, I am just a moron who quite likes being in front of people. These lot have actually made it happen, so huge shout out for that. But beyond that, actually, you know what? Yeah, big cheer for Bella for making it happen in the first place. Beyond that, Bella, who is the founder of Slip Events, is a queer South East London-based musician, poet and artist who says, in my poetry, I love to explore the rhythm, pace and nuances of words without instrument or melody for support. I found that through performing poetry, I somehow access different parts of myself, some disturbing, some humorous. I want to create spaces to encourage other creative queers to try to do this too. And Christ, haven't they done that this evening? Bella, please come up.
Thank you. That was such a beautiful introduction. I feel quite a lot of pressure now. How are you all doing? You all right? Thank you all so much for coming. I'm really excited for such a gorgeous, sexy lineup. I thought I would just do a few old poems and a few new poems. Recently, someone asked me to write a poem about my transness, about my kind of relationship with it. And I thought it would be easy. I thought I would just write down like a really like meaningful kind of poem about how I feel about my transness, but I couldn't write anything. And I realized it's because I don't care. I don't I don't think about my transness. It's like oxygen, you know? So I wrote this about that, and it's untitled. This unknown, freeing space I am in is as mundane as my kitchen sink, is as intravenous as my blood, is as unnoticeable as when I blink, is a stain on my clothes like mud after rain. It is as boring as refilling an ice cube tray. But when my voice sways deeper, and my mate calls me a camp geezer, and they look at me knowingly, like they truly understand, I grip onto that feeling in the palm of my hand. Thank you. Yeah, quite a lot of my poems are actually, well, they're all quite personal, but they're quite frothy. I like a bit of froth, you know what I mean? I don't really know what this poem's about. I guess it's about several things. Feeling used, feeling replaceable, maybe like a bit of a sex object. Yeah, it's called Your Shop Window. You can try me on in a shop window. Press my amazing mannequin tits against your hands, mold them, spin me round to face the public. You don't know if you can afford me. It's because I'm unpriced and no one knows where to keep me. I look expensive, but I'm cheap, really. And when my arms start to bend just slightly, eerily, behind your gleaming shop window, people's eyes widen because I'm all out of proportion. And I'm torn, covered in caution tape. And I'm hoping someone will be able to afford me one day. I'm hoping a label will stick one day, but it's not today though, is it? It's not today though, is it? When you're all out of coins, another fleshy hand will turn me in the way it would like me. But don't tear the tag, baby. Remember to return me within 30 days. Thank you. Yeah, I've got a little poetry book. It's got woo! You're welcome to have one. Just come find me if you like it, if you like what you hear. But yeah, I thought I would just read one that I wrote a while ago. And I guess there's some sexual imagery, so if that isn't for you, you can leave if you would like and then come back. But yeah, it's called Sticky. And so is your face. Said you felt me all over, smelt me all over. I'm in the same place, stuck. Made a muck of a good shag and now I'm swimming in it. Bad luck. 'Cause every word that leaves your sticky lips sticks to my chest, my crotch, my hips. Holding back a pet name, it almost slips. And you want my undivided attention. Well, it is divided. You called us the artist and the muse. How humble of you. But I'd rather not abuse a good thing. There's something chemical. A hit of dopamine. Can't tear myself off of you or you off of me. Unclench. Can't get this stench off of me. I'm in the shade again. I'm drained again. Please take me back to when I wasn't getting laid. I think I'll take your dick out of the glory hole I made. The one in my chest. Give it a rest. Maybe a clean. Mop up this sticky nest. She's a mess lately. We don't seem to be the healthiest, baby. Whoops. My bad. You're just a good shag. Thank you. Thank you. So if I do two more? Yeah. One more, okay. I thought I'd leave it on a nice note. This one's a little bit nicer, a bit more wholesome. It's about just kind of being around a nice community and having each other's backs, really, and being supportive of each other. It's called Ups and Downs Forever. I used to keep my head just above the water, managed to swallow it down in one, lungs full, sea glass in my fingernails and seaweed round my legs, salt on my tongue, ocean all sucked up and I'm cocky now, beating sun. When you look up at the dawn, it's a threat. When you look down at your toes, they are sinking. You are my towel in the dry, damp air, and my sweat is sweet. Pass me that seaweed. We'll use it as a tether. That's what these days are for. Ups and downs forever. Thank you, everyone.
What an absolute pro. Before we move on to the next act, I had a couple people ask about the open mic slots. So if I can get Shay or Neil or someone to bring up the 2 cups, right? And what's going to happen is you're going to be handed 2 cups. They're going to go around the audience. If you write your name on a piece of paper and put it in one of the cups, in a bit, I'm going to pick out one of the names, and then whoever is on that is going to have to stand up. So write your own name. Don't write a friend's name. This ain't karaoke. I see you, Georgie. You know what? We talked about this cup thing, and I was like, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Right, I'm going to do that thing that announcer doesn't tell you to shut up now. Artist number 2. We have Lux Pyre. Great name. Who uses he, him. Lux is a writer, performer, working within erotic and the humorous, which probably means we're going to hear the word sticky again, I imagine. He is currently interested in the poetics of gossip, cringe, and public humiliation, which is my own autobiography for tonight. Lux runs a bi-monthly erotic reading night at the Common Press right here. Woo! Titled Oral. Perfect name. The next instalment will be in June. I'm sure if you ask Lux afterwards or just get in touch with the Common Press online, that's what's happening. And Lux has asked for a stall. So let me quickly do that like nobody's noticing. Give up for Lux! Woo!
Wow, thank you. That was one of the best introductions I've ever had. Hello, how's everyone doing? So I'm going to read two things tonight. One of them is going to be like an actual poem. The other one is going to be kind of amusing about like fantasy. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to start with the actual poem. It's about the cover of a memoir that we had in our bookshop, which is now sold out, which I never read, but it had the best title ever, which is In Search of Pure Lust. Red sandstone, cheap paper, all burnished with a replica of coarse brush strokes. Soft pencil and water and maybe half a tube of acrylic all work together cleverly with a dense, generous hand. The punch of it striking and immediate. Like I was 19 again in a pigment mixing workshop at 10 in the morning, deeply hungover and surrounded by dykes. A trio emerges in the mark making the longer I look. Sparked tongue, barbed dick, and loose lips. Everything Venus-coloured, reddened, chafened, rich. The hue positively tingles off the paper, like latex stretched too far and too tight over skin. Intercrural webbing. Starved arteries flooded with feeling a slap. I was shocked to learn that the surface of Venus is not, in fact, ruddy at all, but a dull, dull grey. A celestial non-pearl, violently formed without any trace of sediment. I want to hold it in my hand like the beating organ that it is, like meat, and salt it redly with brine, spatchcocked, broken open with heat. Before your Venus return, I want you scraped clean, ideally, with one of those glossy steel tools, and laid out on a slab or the image of one textureless on cheap, cheap paper. Skin oil slick, smooth and gleaming. Not a pearl, no, but something heavier and far more absorbent with audible breaths. A thick, torrid swell of post-shower shyness in your chest. And then we'd tug you open, wouldn't we, into false smoothness. Lips spread wide like a bat's taut wingspan in the dark. Your fat nub all swollen and heavy. Twitching and throbbing and so, so ready to be painted with a coarse brush. Thank you. So I guess that energy was quite like down there. It was quite like sensual and erotic. I'm gonna bring it up now. It's gonna be a bit more like silly. This is not a poem. It's literally something I wrote after watching. Have you watched ContraPoints' video about Twilight? Has anyone seen that? So yeah, I want to say start by saying happy Taurus season. Round of applause. I really feel like Taurus is all about embodied pleasure, which some people love and some people really hate. For me, Taurus is about sensuality and physicality personified. Taurus season makes me think of slow Sunday morning sex, of the erotics of eating and every kind of oral indulgence. of the tantalizing appeal of financial and emotional security. Taurus likes wealth in every sense of the word. It wants to buy the boozy tiramisu from Waitrose and wouldn't be opposed to smearing it all over you. Taurus has stamina. It works hard and it likes repetition. Again and again and again. To Taurus, pleasure is a very real, grounded thing. It is palpable, touchable. It is not fantasy. ContraPoint says something I really like about fantasy, which is that fantasies are not literal wishes. Fantasies are constructed situations where emotional needs are met and inhibitions to pleasure removed. For me, there is often a gap between fantasy and my embodied erotic reality. I fantasize about a lot of things I wouldn't feel comfortable doing or experiencing in real life. And I indulge in a lot of things in reality I don't actually fantasize about. Obviously, there is some crossover, but the disparity is interesting. I think what we are doing when we write of or conceive of fantasy is exploring desire beyond embodiment, which is a big thing for trans people. So in our fantasies, we might have different bodies, we might move through the world differently, we might fuck or experience intimacy in ways in which our trauma or identities or histories inhibit us from. Fantasies can be freeing. The work of creating fantasies for ourselves and others is full of possibility. ContraPoints also defines a key mechanism of fantasy, disavowal. Disavowal is the process of constructing fantasy situations where your desires are gratified without having to assert or even acknowledge that desire. So disavowal is basically a sub's dream to receive everything you want without ever having to ask for it. This mechanism often operates within fantasies about non-consent or dubious consent. It also functions as a kind of cognitive dissonance to protect the fantasy haver's identity from the taboo desire that doesn't meld with their current sense of self. I'm now going to reference Twilight, just trigger warning. So take Bella from Twilight, whose numerous repressed kinky desires are most definitely at odds with her virginal white womanhood, and in extension, Stephenie Meyer's Mormon fetishism of that. The cognitive dissonance is so strong that when Bella does actually have real sex, I think after 4 books of edging, with Robert Pattinson, a famed Taurus, important. The experience is described as being hilariously reality shaking, despite it being fairly vanilla, as being capable of restructuring her entire identity. Who knew that cold vampire dick could be so transformative? There are many layers of fantasy at work within Twilight. And the famed Taurus, Robert Pattinson, was arguably very observant when he said of Stephenie Meyer, "This woman is mad. She's completely mad, and she's in love with her own creation." Aren't we all? Fantasy is freeing, but it can also be obsessive and limerent. Complete sidetrack, I fell ill with a chest infection a few weeks ago whilst writing about throats, and I feel it was some kind of divine intervention. And I took it to mean Jesus didn't want me to write about throats. So I'm going to end this by reading something I wrote about loving him. I loved Jesus intensely for about 5 years between the ages of 9 and 14. There was no familial pressure to love Jesus, as church was something social, a tradition that you just did without questioning. There was especially no pressure to love Jesus in the way that I did, obsessively, with a fervor that my family laughed at and then grew increasingly concerned for. For me, it was quite simple. I needed something to devote myself to. Perhaps more than Jesus himself, who I loved with all the intensity and purity that abstraction allows. I loved all the motions of loving Jesus. The praying and kneeling and praying again. A cushion at your feet if you were lucky, stone if not. The pain in your knees, a deserving penance. The spiritual humiliation. Jesus was such a good dom because he made you work for it. It's true. And he made you keep wanting to be worthy of his goodness. Jesus was never really a man, and he would never touch me either, therefore I could love him. He would rather die than degrade himself unto manhood, and I really respected that. I'm now going to quote from the Bible, my other source. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death. The year I stopped loving Jesus was the same year I grew breasts and had to fully let go of boyhood. There's that meme where Jesus shows off his top surgery scars for the boys. The boys finger Jesus' small curved wound at the corner of his chest to understand the ways in which he was hurting. Thank you.
Several things. I'm the worst fucking timekeeper I've ever met, so be prepared that this is going to run over. 2, didn't think we'd hear the phrase, Jesus was a great dom. That's a new one. And 3, if you haven't watched the ContraPoints Twilight video yet, you're missing out on the phrase cuck tent. Next up, another incredible performer. We have Emmett M, who uses he, him. A little shout. Woohoo! Emmett is an Indian transgender poet inspired by queerness, religion, and parasocial relationships with pop divas. Let's be frank about it. Mine's Prince, just so everybody knows. Which are actually all apparently the same thing, which is very true. Apologies, I didn't get to the end of that sentence. He is currently pursuing a master's in London. Jesus, that's cool. With a focus on countering extremism and stopping hate crimes. I fucking tried to sell you a necklace earlier. Shit, man. Right, MLB come, everybody. Woo!
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much. My bio made me sound much cooler than I actually am, but all good. Hi. Hello, gay people on the computer, on the live stream. Hello, strangers. We're extremely confused in East End. Especially when Lux was talking about Jesus. You could tell people thought this was a really well-dressed church gathering, so that's the kind of energy we're going for here. So, time willing, I have 3 poems. One of them is about being a lover. The other one is about being a hater. And then, if we have time, there's one about yearning, which I think hits the exact middle point of like when you love, but you also hate that you're doing it. So, the first poem was inspired by me sort of being the person that people come out to a lot in my friend group, and how, you know, when you're talking about trans futures, there's a sense of sometimes when people tell you they're trans, they're almost talking to a third person in the room where they're trying to talk about the image that we all have in our heads of trans people and trying to be like, oh no, I'm not like that, but I'm like this, but maybe I should do this, or maybe I should present this way, I should try to pass this way. And I was thinking like, you know, in the future, I want us not only to be better and happier, but I want us to be able to define all of this entirely on our own terms. I don't want to deal with anybody talking about who gets the surgery and who deserves this and who deserves that. So this started off, I think, as a love letter to one person, and then now you kind of end up writing about yourself, and now it's about all of you. You're welcome. So here goes. In the better future, we are a miracle of bodies, and there are no lines we draw around the shapes we make of ourselves. When you tell me who you are, there is no reckoning with the present, only the thrum of how the earth cradled our bones close, long before we learned its name was gravity, and time offered us whole lifetimes, before we narrowed it down to the easily definable. All that cacophony silenced so we can hear your heart sing-song chorus. In a better world, there are no tears when you come out, only entire family trees sprouting to find all the words between euphoria and dread, only terms for the bone-deep tingling of recognizing someone like you, only a phrase for the first time you realized your body was yours to keep, only joyous syllables for speaking out loud, the truth rattling around in your head, only awe in the way we stretch the string from biology to heaven. In the better future, there are ample more ways we remind each other we're alive to do more than survive. And as you fill your lungs with air, exhale in the space between they, she, and he. Oh, how beautiful, how queer, how holy to speak yourself into being. Thank you. Okay, so that seemed to go well. Now is a song about being a hater. I've always been the happy-go-lucky guy of the friend group. Like, I've always been very good about not holding on to any resentment or anger. Because as far as I was concerned, I was like, that's not really something that I find helpful. Until very recently, I had a very nasty confrontation with someone that I considered quite close to me and trusted. And they basically took all of their frustrations out on me instead of dealing with their own shit. And I recall this like very almost out of body experience of listening to them yelling so much about shit that like doesn't matter and being like, this is almost like watching a child throw a tantrum. And also sort of realizing like the thing that's really pissed you off is actually just how happy I am. That I'm not really buying into your bullshit, that I'm living my life. So this is a poem called An Ode to Destroying Your Family. Darling, feel free to split this apartment in half and cast me out in the deep. Just don't be surprised when you're spluttering, gasping for air while the water fucking loves me. You're obsessed with cutting me down to size. Scream of your disdain to print and corner shops and strangers, crowded out every pixel of my TV screen. But the truth is, you don't hate me at all. You can only barely resent the lightness of my being. Hatred requires most sincerity, wide-eyed clarity, an ode to seeing things for what they are, and the courage to change it forever. And I have seen your obsessive, loud mouth built for shock pantomime, watched you perform yourself hoarse, screaming through gritted teeth, demanding that womanhood is just a negation, that bodies are just meat, howling lies and crises and your made-up fragility that I know even you can barely believe. The truth is that I'm the one who'll hate you for fucking forever. And the delicious joy is I'll never have to lift a finger. Because stripped of all your miserable facsimile, you couldn't even begin to comprehend the love I feel, of the euphoria in being, of the many who know my real name, of the songs of grief and second chances, of the hundreds and millions of ways my friends make me toast and offer their couches, and their homes continually rebuild me. I'm not alone in this world, no matter what you say. And the truth is, I never ever have been. And not even death can wipe me out when I've lived so wholly and fully, so much more than your half-mangled dreams. I'll sink into love as a legacy, while the sinking ship is yours to keep. My year of being a hater is going really well. Thank you, guys. Huh? All right, one poem about yearning. It's called Jazz is Lonely. It goes, "It's been months since we slow danced in my kitchen, so maybe you don't remember the music. Or maybe you stand over your sink, sick with the knowledge we never ran out of things to tell each other. Like every pair of lovers drinking in the warm body of November, lovesick and eager and anxious to make something with our hands. We talked so much and held back enough just to haunt us. Like maybe you know, I hated the idea of someone else in your bed, but I never quite decoded that look in your eye. And maybe you said out loud that you thought of me very often, but you never exactly said why. And maybe we both know you lied little, the night you begged to stay over because of a headache. But when the morning came and we woke up wrapped in each other, you only said you were content. Maybe you knew I was the best you ever had, and you were too afraid of what it said, of a lifetime of two good sons and daughters, loving only to give away, scared even before we stopped speaking, that everything we really hungered for would only ever be swallowed by the ether of a city where we board the same trains and never run into each other. Now I hope from afar that you told your mother why you wanted to grow out your hair, and you don't know if I wear your sweaters or if I still tend to your plants. We freeze those promises, and summer melts our best laid plans. But when I play these songs, I think of the forgiving blue of dawn and how I should have turned to you and said I was also deeply, achingly content to stay. Thank you.
Studying a master's and funny as fuck. That's a nightmare level of talent, that is. Several things. One, I definitely forgot people were watching us on the internet. Hello, internet. Hello. You've got the best view. The fucking normies walking past, man. It's so funny. I don't know if anybody... It's like we planned it. It's like the best bit of staging I've ever seen. Look, we're 3 people in, and we are 10 minutes behind already. They're meant to be 8-minute slots, right? So... artist number 4 is Sumner Brooke, who uses they, them pronouns. Sumner is a poet, writer, and activist from Southeast London as well. Obviously something in the water over there, mainly limescale. They say they are like a reverse youth pastor. They're here to plant subversive thoughts while you chuckle at their politically flavoured nonsense. I've also heard they're sweary as fuck. So everybody, give a good... Welcome to the fucking stage, Sumner!
Hello. Yes, I'm Sumner Brooke. My pronouns are they, them, as in the 4th act, they were different. My first poem comes with a content warning for transphobic rhetoric, so completely understand if you don't want to hear that. It also comes with a requirement of you, my audience. If you can, I'd like you to raise your right hand. Place it on your heart. Repeat after me. I understand what satire is. I'm going to get doxxed. I dropped my bank card. That being said, this poem is called There Are Only Two Genders. There are only 2 genders, Big Spoon and Little Spoon. There are only 2 genders, Autobots and Decepticons, but we are all Transformers. There are only 2 genders. There are only 3 genders, soup, salad, or sandwich. There are only 4 genders, men, women, over 25, and groups. There are only 2 genders, men and bears, but they're both in the woods. There are only 2 genders, PlayStation and Xbox. Nintendo make games for kids, so stop trying to force your ideology in there. There are only 2 genders, Lucy and Yak. There are only 2 genders, Labour and Conservative. You can opt for a 3rd gender if you want, but it's not going to count. There are only 3 genders, Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole. Now, fuck the big 3 genders, okay? There's only a he gender. There are only 2 genders, pronouns and normal. There are only 8 genders. Men are from Mars. Women are from Venus. I'm sorry, if you're from Pluto since 2006, you have no gender. There are only 2 genders. Incapable of understanding their own choices and evil manipulators. Choose quickly. Which one? Too slow. There are only 2 genders. Subject and object. Which would you prefer? You have to be one. There are only 2 genders. Can't be trusted with their own bodies and can't be trusted with other people's bodies. There are only 2 genders, us and you. We tell you what you are, and you're a freak for suggesting you might do the same. Thank you. I have many criticisms of the Conservative Party, many ideological, but also there's just the absolute lack of drip. I don't know if you can tell. I have 0 money and my clothes are custom. This used to say something else, if you can believe it. Meanwhile, our Prime Minister has a billionaire sugar mummy and he can't get a suit made that fits. Yeah, see? Exactly. This poem is called Rishi Sunak's Tailor. Rishi Sunak's tailor votes Labour. You can see it in the 2 small suits the fucker seems to favour. And Boris Johnson's barber idolises Che Guevara. That's why he's walking around with that trim that's so macabre. And Liz Truss's jeweller wants a commie for a ruler. That's why she wore those necklaces that all seemed so peculiar. And Matt Hancock's booking agent's radicalism's more than latent, but they haven't yet found something that fucker won't do for payment. And it's funny how our leaders are really the ones who need us. It's sort of like the government's made up of bottom feeders. Thank you. Our time together is drawing to a close. I know, so sad, so short. If you enjoyed this set, I'm doing a headline set at the end of the month at Process Productions. You can follow... Thank you. You can follow me on Instagram and see all the shows that I'm doing. This last piece is a little more serious, and it's following a bit of a theme that I've noticed of the evening, but it is about Christian religious trauma and growing up queer in a Christian environment. I was raised very Christian. We weren't allowed to celebrate Halloween. I listened to a lot of Christian ska, and if you're like, oh, I didn't know that they made Christian ska, I'm jealous of you. And my dad wore a dog collar to work every day, not in a fun, sexy way. This last poem is called Crusade. And when she takes my hand, her nails dig deeply in my palms, and she smells like blood and wine as she seeks to fix the fault that she perceives beneath her breast. No mounted sermon sought to cure her, but still she stumbles on the chapter, book, and verse of her redemption. Of everything, the 3 she knows remains are faith and hope and love. But faith has been worn threadbare thin, and patchy hope lets doubting in. So, sheltering the struggling flame that burns an inch above her head, I offer comfort-muted trumpets. Try to flip her temple's table. Believe me when I say that love can never not be holy. Here, come stand by me, slide your fingers in my side and feel the wound that I put there before I knew to listen. Hope to wake up somehow different. 3 days later, I still love her. Hallelujah, I am risen. Thank you.
I'm Yak, by the way. I wish I was Lucy, but it's just not true. Also, P.S., I burnt my finger making pancakes the other day, and it genuinely hurts from all the clicking. So if anybody has a plaster, I might need it later. We got one more artist for a comfort break. By the way, if you didn't bring your own booze, there is an off license around the corner, so you're welcome to do that too. Or non-alcoholic drinks. I'm an ex-alcoholic, everyone. 3.5 years sober, but that wasn't on purpose. It's just we had this whole chat. I've been like, don't make it all about booze. And my brain's like, no, make it all about booze. Our 5th artist tonight is the incredible Tanaka Fuego. Christ. Who uses he, they pronouns. Tanaka is a slam-winning, multi-published international spoken word artist. performing sold-out shows at Edinburgh Fringe Festival, at Vault Festival, and recently being involved in British Vogue X Prim. If that means collaboration, I'm sorry if I fucked that up. Digital Pride campaign, working with brands such as Calvin Klein, Mont Blanc, Nike, and more. That is a hell of a lineup. Can I get some free Air Force Ones, please? All right, come for you, everybody, Tanaka! I fucked it. Tanaka asked me to just make it clear that this is about mental health and potential other not nice things. Feel free to go next door, put your fingers in your ears. I fucked that up, my bad.
How are you guys? Yeah? Oh, fuck. The chair's a bit fucked up. Professional. I did a poll on Instagram today because that's what people fucking do for engagement. And they said they wanted new shit. You want new shit? And then I said, but do you want like classics, you know, like things I do? And they were like, 40% were like, no. And then 60% were like, we don't give a fuck. And I doubt any single person is in the room. So we're just gonna do whatever the fuck I wanna do. Hey, yo! I'm gonna start with a piece that I wrote from an experimental play I got commissioned for last summer. Once again, take care of yourself. If you need a minute, feel free to step out. I won't be offended. Fuck it, you know? You guys good though? Yeah. Shall I start? Yeah. Fucking dope. And if I go over time, fuck you guys. Yeah? Everyone's gone over. What makes the ground shallow? What holds us together while we tear ourselves apart? What did the shore cool the ocean before words gave meaning in exchange for life? Who are we, if not the land and the sea? Colliding between the midst of things while teething in between, I call out my name in resistance. You say it back to me in rebellion. I am the hero and the villain of my own story, a crossbreed, a mutt, the runt of the litter with very little to my name. But what is a name? If not letters attempting to define ourselves? Am I a person before my desires, or is my desire all my person is made to be? A concoction of what's been left to be found, a remedy in your urgency, a medicine with no name, but a thick syrup with the ability to heal. But where does the healing begin for someone so fractured as I? I don't know if it's impulse. The one be the sweat that falls from the neck, the chewing of one's tongue. I do not know what you call a meal made out of chopped liver, when I can't afford my cavity to be fixed, nor the craving to be satisfied, so I almost call the feds on my dealer. Became a whistleblower in a moment of relapse, thought, if I can't have the drugs, then neither can you either. I mean, he ignored me for 4 days and 5 phone calls, which was potentially 20 minutes, but how an addict can't tell the difference between the morning or the night, just the morning of the next hit. Who knows when will come? So I almost called the feds on my dealer. But I remembered to be kind. I remembered how small joys are still sometimes the hardest to conquer. How mine are whales and bottles in a sea full of fake convictions. Who am I to wish this even upon my worst of enemies? And yet I was still tempted to call him, the feds I mean, and tell them of all the happiness a man in Nike grey tech can sell at a price point. One can't complain during this type of inflation, and yet I don't. I remind myself to be kind to all those needing to buy a dream just to escape their own nightmares. A sacrifice I do over and over and over again. Thank you. Appreciate it. Can we do something I haven't done before? Yeah? Let's do shit for the first fucking time. I got commissioned by the National Portrait Gallery last month. Yeah, so flex. Not even, just context, I swear. For this new exhibition they have, defo go check it out if you want. If you can't afford a ticket, I think it's fucking free. I don't know anyone, but I'll send an email out. Community's everything. So yeah, it's about The Time Is Now, and it's an exhibition based on all black artists from around the world. So defo check it out. But this piece was inspired by it, and I'm gonna need your help. Can you do that for me? Can you help me? Every time I raise my hand, I need you to say, "The time is always now." So let's just test that real quick. The time is always now. Okay, you guys know in English and shit? Okay. The time is always now. To breathe, to break, to lose, to win. The time is always now. I hear, I think, I believe the time is always now, and yet silence fills these bones. The rage and overbrewed tea with skin like me, with a taste on the tongue that could lead one to flee, to sing, to dance, to recite. The time is always now. But a broken clock is right once a day. I've heard. The cuckoo clock rears its head at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. There is a riot at 4. The clock can't keep up, but we lace our boots. Fight for something few and many believe. The time is always now. To share, to resist, to dare to speak. My voice shakes as I wait for the clock to strike again. Not now, but tomorrow. For your tomorrow is my now. The time is always the time, and half my friends never learned how to read an analog clock. So their time is always now. Thank you. Appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. I've got 2 poems. I'll make them fucking quick. Okay. I promise. I was like, don't fucking kick me up. Now my fuckers are like, no, we won't. Serious. Take care of yourself. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. Oh, how isn't death around us? Oh, how he doesn't hide the Grim Reaper, how he doesn't look like we were told in cartoons and fables. Oh, how isn't death around us? When isn't he a bottle or a bag of pills? Sweet yet burns at the pit of our stomachs, taste like the patriarchy on our tongues, looks like a lover's raised fist. Sounds familiar to a parent's voice in a hollow corridor. Oh, how isn't death around us? When I remember a time when I went to more funerals than birthdays, sang more hymns for those delayed for a man to resurrect, gave more flowers in winter than I ever got the chance to pick in spring. Oh, how isn't death around us? When this city is a gallows, with a scent of reverence spilt on the pavement, or maybe that's the leftover trash that got spilt out of the trash bags. I mean, tell me, what's the difference between a hospital bed and a grave? When people still come to visit you anyway. When people still cry anyway. No, half of us already dead. So who's really living anyway? I mean, most days. I can't decide if I need a hospital bed or a grave. Because there's something so tempting about the eternal. It's so scary about the unknown. Ain't London Bridge falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. And most days, I wish I could go with it too. Thank you. so fucking depressed. That's fucked up. I'm better than that. So this last piece was inspired by a beautiful trans woman I met twice. And the second time I met her, 2 weeks later, I found out she had been murdered. But on the second encounter, she told me we shared the same birthday. And that was something that just stuck with me. So this is for Ellie. 10 reasons to be alive. 1, because you're not here and I don't believe in wasting sacrifices. 2, the sun crawled out of bed today with its only hope of seeing me free. I pray I haven't been one to disappoint. 4, because you're not here and I don't believe in wasting sacrifices. 5, breath felt easy today, as if I was breathing for 2. Tell me, do you miss lungs? 6, being here has surpassed choice. It's purpose. 7, because you're not here and I don't believe in wasting sacrifices. 8, I held a nectarine in my hands the other day and for the very first time, it felt like our last goodbye. Sweet. Yeah, it didn't get to last long enough. 9, I count every dandelion on road, careful not to miss a wish. 10, I blink and I miss you. Thank you so much for having me.
Trans people are fucking talented, aren't they? Jesus Christ. Right, look, quick comfort break. I'm talking 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to have a piss, go to the shop, have a fag, kiss somebody, do whatever you want. 5 minutes. See you in 5. Right, I'm cracking on. I don't care how loud you are. I can be louder. I got a microphone. So in this second half, we have got coming up our open mic slot, which was destined before we got here tonight. We have our random selection, names in a cup, open mic slot, and then we've got another 4 incredible acts. So we're going to crack on. We are a bit behind. Is everybody all right if we're a little bit late tonight? Thank fuck. Look, I'm really enjoying this, and it's amazing to hear people talk about stuff that's incredible. It's amazing how much Christianity has come up. It comes up in this as well. Something about God. This is a great dom. Anyway, look, I'm going to do this one because I promised you all a story about my tits. It's also the favourite thing I've ever written personally because, as you can tell, humour is a defence mechanism I enjoy. And look, before we crack on with people who are much more talented than me, this is called The Magic of a Misogynist, specifically when it comes to being a trans girly. Oh, context, very important piece of context. I live next to a river and I like swimming in it. If you don't know that, this makes fuck all sense. I'd been swimming. See, I told you. Well, sinking mainly. I'd been fallen in a well of my own making and I needed to get wet. See, there's therapy in the immersion and dispersion of a previous version, like baptism without the sinning, just swimming in the river where my fins first unfold, long before my friends called me, go. As I swiftly scuttled back to the car, it wasn't far to home, but in the intense urge to submerge, I'd purged the common sense to pick up any clothes. Oh, fuck. It was just me and the towel, wow. Well, tuck it up under my armpits, cover the bits, lickety-splits. No one needs to see all this. But then growl. The unmistakable howl of a bowel that needs pizza. Okay, no problem. I've done this 1,000 times before. Quick pop to the store for a 4-cheese feast for one proper garlic dip whore. That's me. I ran in the frozen section vaults like a yellow-striped lightning bolt, grabbed a cardboard-wrapped delicacy, swung with elegancy, but suddenly, halt. The garlic dip had slipped. Shit, it's flipped and clipped a shelf of Pepsi Max. Oh crap, it's all over aisle 9. And I'm in a one piece of my own making. There's no doubt the only way out is go tell Dave at the checkout about my mayonnaise-based mistake. I wander over, my hair dripping as much as the shelf in aisle 9. Dave is not alone. Hi, I'm so sorry. I've probably just ruined your night, but I might have just spilt a massive tub of garlic sauce all over the floor over there, and I can't even bend down to pick up because, you know, I'm in a towel. No worries, says Dave. Needed a clean anyway. What a true hero in a blue polo. Thanks so much, I downplay. But here's the twist. The gentleman in the queue with the bad hip and the 4-pack and the fags and the wrinkles deep enough to store your change in piped up. It's all right, love. How about you go clean it up? Just pop off that towel in, give it a quick spin, and we'll all go home with a grin. Oh, thanks, I can't believe it happened tonight of all nights. I'm silly me. I check out, I run out, and it's only when I'm back at the car from afar, my memory sparks, and I realise he wanted to see my tits. Bloody pervert, trying to underskirt a poor damsel like her, but to be fair, he thought I was a girl. No makeup, no dress, no heels or nails, just curls, towel and fails. The euphoria flood upraises my blood pressure because every other time I've shopped and dined in a cotton-lined toga, it had been round my waist, not perched over my chest, literally a breast. But this is how I wear it now. So I guess the new habits are just the best. So do that. Oh, I should have finished there, but I wrote another paragraph. So to that dirty old guy, I just wanted to remind them that it's not kind, but honestly, you made my night. And that is why they didn't let me talk in front of a bunch of lawyers. Right, our first open mic slot is going to one of the incredible trans history volunteers who has been all over our social medias. P.S., by the way, little note, if you're not following Trans History Week across TikTok, Instagram, and all the other places we pop up, why not, firstly? And secondly, I've already had people say to me, oh, can I have all the artists' Instagrams? Sorry, I'm taking the piss out of you. But they're all on that fucking page, all right? They're all there. Go and follow the fucking page. You bought the fucking ticket. Sorry, Deloitte. You can edit that out. Right, everybody, Alex Powell, who uses he, they. Woo! By the way, just because of time, you get one poem, okay?
Hello everyone, as JVG said, I'm Alex, my pronouns are he, they. Thanks for reminding me I'm short.
We love a short king!
Woo! Yeah, this is the biggest audience I've ever performed to, so very nerve-wracking. The poem I'm going to go with is conveniently themed around trans history, funnily enough. It's called Thanks to You. They say it's new, it's woke. Your identity is just a joke. How are we meant to understand if it's just you? Just your generation. They act like we're just a nation of queer kids. But that's not true. We've been queer for decades, for centuries. You just don't see it, or won't see it. The queer community isn't growing. We've always been here. But now there's less fear, and we want the world to hear us. We've seen all those that have come before us, Marsha P. Johnson, Mark Ashton, Harvey Milk, Josephine Baker, Bayard Rustin, to name just a few. They fought for our rights, our right to live, to be ourselves, to not have to live in fear. So it's not just new. Our identities have always been here, and we've come far, thanks to those who have been before us, who have protested, been arrested, raised their voices and shouted, so that we can live our lives now. Somehow, we're still here. We don't have to live in as much fear anymore, but there is still more to do. To be accepted, to just live our lives despite our identities. So we thank all those who have come before and fought for all of the LGBTQIA+ community. Thanks to you all, we can live and have the strength to keep fighting, to prove that our identities are not new, and give the next generation the chance to grow and thrive as themselves, no matter who they are. Thank you very much. Follow me on Instagram. It's on the socials.
How amazing is he, eh? Everyone, another round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, so I came up with this idea about 45 seconds ago about how we could pick the name out of this cup, because the cup thing was meant to be a hat, but I forgot to wear a hat. And I've decided that I've asked Marty to come up and treat me like I've wronged them in a 90s drama from America. So let's go. I'm ready.
You ain't my mother.
I did not catch one of those. We have, it's either a slash first, but I don't think it is, so I'm going to go with Eyes and Rasen. Hey, there we go, everybody, Eyes and Rasen. Hey there, everybody. So later on you can go up and say, oh my God, he's so fucking good. I'm so proud of them.
No, sure. I just thought it'd be much easier if I just use a seat instead of my crowd. Thanks. So yeah, my name is Izam Rassen. He they. I came out about 7 years ago, and during my gap year, which is like a year after I came out, I went to this theatre program at Lyric Hammersmith, and we had to create a theatre production from scratch, and we had a choice to write our own scripts for our own characters. I decided to go with poems, and they were like, okay, sure. Normally it was 3 poems put into one, but I'm going to ignore the second poem because it doesn't really relate to me. The first and third one was based on my experiences. So it's family and belonging. My life is like shattered glass, broken pieces trying to fit together like the painting I walk past every night at 11:05 p.m. 11:05 p.m. 11:05 p.m. was the time Mama would sit me down to do my hair. Argan oil, henna, egg, and coconut incense smells which engulf my nose every time I come home from work. Work was sitting next to Baba with my hair done in tight braids, studying the rules of photosynthesis and the properties of an atom, working late like I do now, studying over my theatre studies notes alone. Alone, a word I would never use to describe myself, for my family was my cape. They would protect me when I would fall down. But now my life is like shattered glass, broken pieces trying to fit together, like the painting I walk past every night at 11:05 p.m. 11:05 p.m. 11:05 p.m. I have always been described as wild and unruly, a wild storm in an eastern breeze, a lost wolf hidden within the green, changing themselves for themselves, losing their pack for being themselves. My changes are not happening fast enough, being quickly misplaced by my new pack of wolves, being forced to scrape the bottle. That's not the right one, shit. My bad. That was the second one. This is the third one, sorry. The sands of time are calling, but the sky is clear and bright. Shadows fill my past, but life calls and beckons me into the light. Now I got a new attitude, a lease of life, and a sense of gratitude. With my final days and my final words, I think that when I leave here on this earth, did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or will I bow my head in shame? For I was never grateful for all the glories I had in my life. Would rather look into the past and step into the light.
But now I see I can be grateful for many things: weekly tea shots, deepening voice, and no misgendering. Sitting at home, incense filling my room, reading old books and wearing wire-framed glasses. My thick curls, my olive skin, my freckles marking new constellations. Listening to scratchy Tracy Chapman records, strumming to fast cards on my ukulele, while studying over my notes from university. My family, my friends, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. Hopefully I will in another life, but for now, the sands of time are calling and the sky is clear and bright. I will no longer bow my head in shame, and I will now step into the light.
Can we just point out, Isam didn't know they were going to do that tonight, which is just fucking incredible. That was all rigged and there was a deal going on there. If that's the case, I want to cut. Guess who broke their phone? It's really difficult to open. Can't find my notes. Could you tell that I'm not particularly professional with this? Right, look, we're going into our last few performers, but fundamentally, you can only... I was going to say it can only get better, but what a fucking slam on the first half. Right, we've got Lewis X. Oh, shit, fuck me. I fucked up. Meikle? Yeah. Thank you. You know what? This is the thing that hosts do. They find these things before it becomes a public embarrassment. I told you I would be. Lewis, who uses they, them, is a queer neurodivergent poet based in London with a background in economics. Their work often explores the intersection of queer identity, capitalism, magic, and love. Everybody give it up for Lewis!
It's also Louis. It's fine.
If you'd spoken to me beforehand, I said, did anybody have anything they want to tell me? And you was silent.
Well, it's fine. Hey, bitches. How we doing tonight? Lovely to hear it. Okay, I've got some lovely stuff for you. I've got a new poem, a soft poem, an untitled poem, and a trans poem. Does that sound good to you? Stunning. Okay, so this poem I wrote very recently, so it can be considered new shit. Thank you very much. We need that. I often think about, I thought about what to bring to Trans History Week in this new space, and I thought, like, how can I honor it? And I thought I could talk about what does trans history mean to me? What does that sort of resound with me? Because it's me. Hello. Hi. Yes, hello. So this one is called Star. My boy is framed in the doorway, getting substitute moonlight from the streetlight, barcoding the body between the blinds, assigning my boy's strategy in place of morals, because boys like that get killed for spilling into spaces where gods can't see them. I've got a body made by wizards, wiry hair, stars in my skin, eyes like a bottomless pit fenced with coal and gold dust, specially crafted to catch glances inviting approximate boys to dance inside my gaze, to grow in my warmth. Back then, I'd make bird nests out of the hairs woven in the corner of the shower, crystal interplay of touches chipping the boyhood out. Bubbling pink blonde circuitry down my thigh, logic gates made of spit and brown sugar. I was computing solutions to find some love between the negotiations and the silences between gods and dead men. My boy, you had every story erased with each word they didn't say. You learned to bargain to promise they wouldn't lose their son. They damned you regardless. Damn the child who wants love for free. Damn the child who hasn't earned the right to be held. I'm breaking words apart, splintering phonemes into firewood. I'm not into masculinity or femininity. I'm more comfortable with infinity. Like fire rippling through the boundaries, tearing through the rules, cutting the world through the center. Maybe you could be so much bigger than the box they gave you. Come and feel my glow while I'm still here. I was born into this golden inferno, be burning and burning and burning, painting the air with my warmth until I've eaten every word they've called me, until I've consumed death itself, until the hills glow with my love, until the hills glow with my love. Thank you. The next one I thought of as, well, it is literally called Lullaby, And I often thought of all the wonderful trans people in my life who do so much to protect each other, do so much to make their worlds just right. And I thought, I want to help you rest. I want to help you rest yourself. And this is a lullaby for them. I am here with you. The dirt under fingernails, you. Incense smoke like a necklace, you. Helping like you don't exist, you exist right in my arms. I am here for you, here with your pain, with care and warmth. You can rest your heart on mine. I'll keep it safe right here. There's no truth in this wanting, no secret in this suffering. It's enough to be sitting, it's enough to be nothing. Right here, it's all starlight. No moon or sun to burn you up, no bright sky. Instead, there is love, woven delicately into this orange night. And so you are here, right in my arms, all of you, like air, you like fine thread, you right where you need to be. You're here with me, you're here with me. You're here with me. Thank you. So, thank you very much. This one is untitled, so if anybody in the audience wants to suggest a title after I finish this, please come up to me. I'm still working on it. It's a fun one because I wanted to think about the bodily experience of being trans, this and that experience in love, and how I felt about that, because it was just sort of almost this impermanent, beautiful thing, and I like air almost, that sort of cradles you. And this is creatively named Untitled Number 19. Come and play inside my chest. Come and run down my throat. Make me choke up as you run your fingers along my esophagus, like how you hit metal fences as a child just to hear the sound, the soft metal echo. Come and play with my body like a puzzle, like a sculpture, like a riddle, like a question, like a bee that just landed on your leg so delicately it felt like a tissue paper breeze. Come and see what you find in me. Come and see what part of you is reflected in my eyes. Come and see your own loving, your regrets, your fear in every crack in my body. Come and dance on my gut like it's 2 a.m. in a field of forget-me-nots, like the light in the air is crystal thick, clear, like we're holding each other so goddamn tight we might fall into each other. Come play with my hair like you're running your fingers through the tall grass. Come and play with my mouth and breathe into me like you're finally breathing out for once. And play with me like I don't have to care anymore, like I don't have to strike my heart like flint, like I don't have to guess where your mind has gone, like I can release my anxiety, like rushing wind, like time, like the depth of the sky, like tears mean nothing. Like nothing exists outside our bodies, dancing in this deep purple void, falling, staggering, laughing into twilight. All right. It's so sad, but it's my final one. It's the final poem. But I'm all around, so if you like my stuff. I mean, we know, you've got the fucking link online. Go and look at it. Go and look at it. It's good stuff. This final one is called Morpho, and this is, I think, the most trans poem I have ever written. And I wanted to present it here in front of you lovely, fashionable, sexy people. Thank you so much to everybody. Everybody's been so beautiful and lovely tonight. This is Morpho. I inherited the shape of a threat. Cast in borrowed plaster, you can still see the creases left over from the steamroller that pressed me out in the blunt angle of my jaw, in the folds of my throat. My words once folded air into a channel that took in every word in the room and turned them into an excuse. But now, I am taking the shape of justice. The outline of my face blurred against the light, personally fueling my own fashionable reification in warm tones, because I know what's good for me. The same way priests keep the good word going because the alternative is incredibly boring. These boys have been scrabbling the air into fractals, keep calling my justice advanced threats, like I graduated and went from swords to eyeliner. These boys went into law to draw lines like they mean something, and their justice is a Hilbert curve, extrapolating violence and old words, like painting a forgery with the spit of your racist grandfather. But listen up, boys, because I'm wrecking your aqueduct. I'm unraveling masculinity and making it into fishnet tights. And I'm parading around Parliament Square as a lecture to every god that exists. I reject all you have given me and all you have promised me. Your priests are my go-go boys, and your holy books will make great padding for my next performance, dancing outside the gates of heaven. I'm making threats with my nails, carving away at your grim idea of justice as a negotiation between two warlords. I'm taking the shape of my own justice. A justice that has prescription paroxetine, smells like a burning government office, and rents their dick out to a non-profit to be cloned and used in bottom surgery. Friends, let me unwrap the air the men have tied up between their definitions and boundaries. Let me release the breath they've kept from you. And let's send them a threat by breathing out. Thank you.
Two things. One, I've never wanted to be caressed by a glove more. And two, I feel genuinely terrible about the name thing because I've got social anxiety. Thank you, Louis. No, genuinely phenomenal. Next up, we've got Andy Davies, who uses they, them. Andy is a queer, neurodivergent performance and visual poet. They use their work to explore community, interaction, and linguistics, and I think we can all agree community, as proven tonight, is a hugely important topic for all of us. Andy has performed across the UK alongside Bella Cox, Kayla Martell, Feldman, Christ, some shit with names, Bibi June, Rick Dove, Matt Salby, and others. Everybody, can you give Andy a huge welcome?
Oh God, we're in transition. Pray, give me attention. Jesus, hi. A friend, a brother, a God, a son. Jesus, it's cold out here in the wind and the wilderness. But God, is he this red wine, black top boy leaning into me? I pray to God he'll be a man as far as I can understand. The Bible tells me so. Human in God's image, creation, creator. I'd want him, my lawmaker, to tell me where to turn to. My master, make me yours. And be selfish with our time and hearts. Be as selfish as God, Christ. Carpenter, Book of Mark, genealogy of Luke. Hear this prayer to trace those lines back to Adam and make me humble in awful wonder. Christ, I could kiss him. If he'd bring his lips up close to my eyes, I'd inspect and run my fingers across his stubbled throat. Oh my God. Touch the holes, hands and feet. Faithless Thomas, who had thought he would never receive. Let me believe better than most and expect love from you. Christ, it's the day, in the middle of the fucking day, and oh Jesus. The grip I could have locked in tongues and spit and heavy chests. Oh God. To have and to hold with, and this a breathless still, not in dark night or valleys of shadows and death. Jesus, you'd deny it, but for warmth I'd run a nail over his palms and arms, scratching the pink away to have the red. Demand my attention and search to know me better than an angel can know the history of man and what we're getting wrong. If we're lost, be distant. And if we're wrong, let's come to misunderstanding together. Oh God, in word, in deed, with dripping wet morality, we parched people are panting dear, our hearts wandering from spring to clouded spring and casual to Christ sexual thing, to lie in clothes or not in clothes, in bed or back to back. Oh Jesus, praise be. He smiles. That's really a fun one because of especially like the theme we've all had tonight, really. But also because I wrote that and performed it before I was out, and then I performed it again when I was out. And we're all sort of still making some transitions anyway. I'm sort of moving through into using more like they, she pronouns now. That's fun. Can I get a new shit for the new pronouns? New shit! Thank you. These next two poems are also new shit, so you can do it again. New shit! I just love hearing it, so nice. I have very much liked being called girl. I think you can she me when I ask you to. Those mornings the barriers come down from the windows and sunrise is waiting for the littlest birdsong. The smallest of excuses to raise a reason to wake up. Go about gay days in our queerest of ways, transgressing all expectation of timing and behavior. Beams striking touchlight across the kitchen table. Tea and toast filling lesbian bodies shared in a vicarage. No yet belief in gods, but belief in each other and witnessing in a way that is transgressing, figuring it out. I think you can she me here and now, in this room, in your voice. Pale blue eyes are more sensitive to the sun and your gazing. Perceive my shifts in tone, these cast-off references and puns, see the sing-song. Will you sing back to me? Let me hear your shuffling and bass. I will close my eyes and sit horizoned on your bed, so painted, imaged, both of us and more beyond, humming home to home. On these mornings, we will all know gender euphoria. Bows in my hair. Knotting hair, the strings curl together, and brushing cuts a way through. From behind, it's called luscious, on top, it's falling over vision. Side to side, swish a sway, away to the top of gold. Rooted in sunshine, browning blonde, the mice scurrying for warmth. If this is something to be confident in, I am made gods. Multitude, colouring, peacock, parakeets, pea-henning, dulled structurally. Cashing in a question, which followed an answer on normality. I hear it in everything that sings in the life we're living. If I see you walking wild in passing, I will be copying, shaping, shaved, an art block, rooms to walk between, for sculpture, for painting, the screen printing of zines, to capture coils of culture, smoke from lit bins. I am a whole swelling from the ocean, pushed out at the estuary. One day born, on another day, born in the night, born. It could be dying, but waiting and re-waking. You pass me a string, I tie up the locks and bow my hair, marooning for now, soon to forest green, then a gilded navy. Swim out, bring back painfully prostrate per usual routines. This fashion is the font of the body. I am not performing, I am being. It is all created by intent and reception. The simultaneous build-up and let-down, release from constraints. This is where it falls apart. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you all for hosting. It's been wonderful.
I'm hoping this will go down well, but wasn't she amazing? That would only work in a room full of trans people. Good job. Also, P.S., first one where I've nearly burst into tears 3 times, so thanks for that. I don't know what that says about me or what you write, but incredible. Look, we're coming up to our final 2 people, so our penultimate artist tonight is Jasmine Issa. fuck's sake. You know what? I work in fucking inclusion. What a twat. Classic fuck up. Anyway, point is that Jasmine, who uses they, she, by the way, is a journalist, BBC Wildlife, Gay Times, Metro, etc. Heads up, I don't know if anybody saw her advert in the Metro this week, but I was quite proud of that. Yeah, that was for me. Thank you. A writer and marine queer ecologist. Wow. I'm going to talk to you later about eels. As a trans, desi, non-binary and Muslim woman, she finds that her need to intertwine her identity in her work is required for authenticity and creativity to thrive. Can we get a big hello, welcome for Rita?
Hello. Hi. Yeah, that was a good introduction. I mean, to be fair, I wrote Issa in like transliteration in English, and English is such a shit language. My God, it's so shallow. Like, come off it. So anyway, yeah, it's fine if you got it wrong, if I spelled it wrong, basically. It's really hard to choose what poems you're going to read. I had to go through them, and literally up till the last minute, I was like, what on earth? Like, everyone's amazing. I feel like I'm gonna like explode because pride, but also panic and anxiety and everything. And I decided maybe I should just go with the journey that I've been on. And I've been on quite a tumultuous journey. It's been interesting. And so I decided I'd go with the themes of my journey. So I'm gonna read 3 poems. Hopefully I won't go over, but actually I have no like awareness of time or really space. So if I fall off the stage as well, that's probably what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna read 3 poems. And it's focusing on origins, trying to find my origins as someone who's so intersectionally obvious. I stick out in a lot of places that other people would go, isn't that your community? And I'm like, it's like a bit of it, but I kind of fit into that one and this one, and in the end I kind of fit into no place. So haven't actually started yet. Yeah, I'll be talking about origins, I'll be talking about loving who I am, and I'll be talking about the future. My blood echoes with the rhythm of footfall. I am built, grown, strained, layer by layer, hair by hair, piece by piece, from the footfalls of bloodlines gone. I am wrought, feature by feature, drop by drop, wax figurine melted by hot sun and tropics, sweat from striding fast and eyes clenched shut, tearing into me across the years. My mother tells me a tale. A shanty no older than her mother, a tale of legs moving fast, feet cut by stones, sight straining into the night, limbs ache, hair wild, realities mix with dream and nightmare, force-fed through a tube of brackish and brittle air, swallow, then move quickly. Gunshot, gunshot, gunshot. Whining latitudes of spearheaded sound cut into the ears, deep down to the drums, whistling feverishly and attracting palms to face and forehead. Grasping that face was once young. Without cracks and cobbles of travel and wear, she clutches firmly my grandfather's hand, my ummi's aboji, and my nani ummi. She clutches fearfully life whence it once was. She clutches being alive, clutches it from the trigger-happy and desperate scorpions shining black rubber-booted companions chasing her from homeland, land of her ummi, land of her people, to pack train to land of pure. Run, rabbits, run. Run, rabbits, free. Country and hill and dale, waterfall, pasture, green by green and now grey by grey. Just live and let be. They run and we never stop. We never did, and perhaps we never will. Footfalls and echoes of exhaustion are my body's natural rhythm. The rule is run, then you can be. But before we ran, we were royalty. but not the way the white man sees monarchy, not the kingdom be named after thee, not built upon gold-encrusted, blood-soaked body, not spitting jewelry when we speak, and not for no power, no matter, no empathy, just symbolically. No, our kingdom was a kingdom of dignity, community. Life is a great tapestry, and within we weave our people, our journey, our solidarity. Our stories stretching so far back, they break and taper and hurt. To the beginning of people and persons, the first dribbles and delicious licks of fiery, flaming brown hide and jet black hair crossing the land bridge from Al-Kebulan to Barat. We the beginning and the middle and the end. Running, forever running. Will we ever stop running? When my heart no longer beat one day to the rhythm of footfall and finally fall silent to the rhythm of winds rising and singing, they take my soul to journey where my ancestors sing and play, to the gold and green and blue and red tattooed on the backs of my eyelids. Can we deny that we are tired from running since the dawn of people? The sun will drop one day on white power, then perhaps we will sleep among the brown soil, our brown soul at ease when finally not looking over a shoulder, both eyes shut. My heart beating to the rhythm of earth and the heartbeat of a mother holding a child dearest near. That poem was kind of born because I don't really know where I'm from. I come from a very strict Muslim background. I come from an Indian Pakistani background. I come from a Portuguese background. I come from a Mongolian background. I come from lots of different places. And I don't really know where I come from, and I don't really know where I'm going to go. So that poem was me trying to find out where I'm from, and it's kind of only scratching the surface. But once I did, I'm trying to celebrate who I am because, let's be honest, you don't really see many Muslim Desi trans women anywhere. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's also kind of sad. But also it's nice, you know. Cheer me, please. If you don't, that's kind of... it's kind of racist if you don't. Anyway, this next poem is about celebration. It's called Packet of Estrogen, or Paki. I think there might be one in the house, but I'm not sure. Amazing. She's staring at me. All illusion, no substance. A believer in dreaming, all the while trapped in a dream. Smudged fingertips drag over her skin. Foundation dresses her scars and shadows. Can you see beneath the dressage and bows? Spread across her breasts and navel are slashes and stretch marks. Blue veins strain against the surface of her brown skin. The soft folds of herself, her lips, her wandering spider leg fingers, the swell of her aching chest and hard tummy. The casual dip of her collarbones, a sharp breath in and never let out. Curls of black and brown bounce from ear to nape. Boy, have I grown to love this shape. Shoulder blades, spades and hearts and a deck of cards painted with mehndi on the inside, dragon tail reaching toward my undercarriage. Soft, caressing hair leaking over my arms and legs, dripping from my pits to my cheeks. I burned you before with my white male gaze, but the warmth of this diaspora fans your flames. She's staring at me, all substance and illusion. Fuck your bland blankets you throw over our tones. Her smirk and smile are my own. Bitten lips and razor cuts dance across her mouth. I peel this mask off after every dance, but now I'm at the masked ball. At this, I stand tall, or just below the average, because I don't care at all. Tell me why you teach me that I am white for wanting to be she, but I am brown for taking a knee. That I am a main character in your wet dream, but the protagonist in your history. That I am dying, graying, crumbling to bitter ash because you burn my brethren down with hungry hornets from the canisters of your itching fingers. That when I am young, I am an envelope licked shut by your greedy tongue. She's staring at me. All love, no illusion. Seeing me rise and fall, a bird now with a call. Brown girl magic, they call it. Looking in this mirror, I can see that. No shit. Thank you. Oh my God. A really nice crowd. This is very cool. That was love, self-love, after trying to understand sources. And now I'm going to talk a bit about the future, because we need to talk about the future, especially as people who are often told we aren't even in the future, we won't have a future. So we need to talk about it, we need to dream about it, we need to love it, we need to understand it, but also we need to just kind of let it be a reality that we have a future. This is called Futurism Cannot Live with a Joyless Past. Futurism. Future is... Future is the after. Past is the before. Before the future must come the past. Present is non-existent, really. Simply fleeting, never real. We teeter on the sharpened knife edge, the bayonet tip, the sword's blade, the shark's tooth. We teeter and we fall. Perhaps we are never balanced. Future is combinations. Crushed spices, minced meat, mixture, soup, smashed pieces, sawdust and air, cabin heat and pine needles, snowdrift and dirt, bone dry and beach wet, stomach acid and mother's cooking, crying tears and laughing, elbow grease and engine oil, bookmarks and librarians' glasses. Future is made to run, walk, sit, stand, die, feel. We age as the time passes. Do not we see that future is isms? Futurism, the future of futures. Take the past, the future leans upon. There is no future with no past. There is bitter future with bitter past. There is pained future with pained past. Learn your future from your past. Teach your future into existence with your past learnings. If you write our past, you change our future. It is you who pained our past. Now you forget the pain of our past and you cast your actor in our future. Paint our deathbeds with shadow paint. Shine a light on your smiling face. Draw a smile over our candles, our remembrance, our pain. You is making our future. You is our futurism. Future is, don't know. Don't see future. All I see is past the years, the steamed up glass, the gunfire, smoke and mast of ships, cargo, humans sweating, crying for home, deck slick with blood soap. Cannot cope with the lack of my past. Pen my past I will, for then I am the maker of my future. Future is mine, ours. Tell our stories, cover your mouths and lend us your stage, lend us your hands, lend us your pens, lend us your bridges, your brushes, your paint, your shoulders. We who are used to the dark because we face the floor, know how to be heard in the dim, so you can be sure we shall scream upon these platforms and we will bend the future and the past and the present to our whim. We do not cut out. We do not fall in, we do not silence, and we do not speak to win. Futurism is future and past, wrought from diamond and steel, shining with lichen, vine, scented green moss, covered sandy ocean, scented steamy jungles, rocky building, spiced food, shouting in the street, meet my family, I'll meet yours, sit down if it eases you, Play my music, I'll play yours. Weave baskets made from sugar cane, languages spin and mix. We spin and mix, the dancing goes on and on and on and sleep. Under the stars, the lights, in the crook of arms, the cuddle of bodies, human and otherwise. Color skin is no matter. I close my eyes and I feel it. I lust for it. I taste it. Future is now. It can be now. Let us be free to future imagine, be hopeful that maybe, just maybe, future is free. Future is a joyful past that flowers. Thank you.
You ever get to a point of these things where somebody says something and you get really fucking angry you didn't think of it first? Futurism is very, very, very good. That was amazing, and we are coming up to our final act of the night. Now, don't worry, I will be back. Can't believe I just said that when our next act is Ros Kaveni, who, if you don't know, get to fucking know, you will know. We have a lot to thank Ros for in our life, all of us. And we had Ros talk the other night. And one of the things Ros said was, the most important thing you can do is show up. So I'd like to thank all of you for showing up tonight. That's firstly my thank you to all of you. Ros followed that up with, and if it's not your fight, show up and shut up. So in that case, shut the fuck up, enjoy an absolute legend, and Ros, I will get you everything you need, don't worry. Everybody, Ros.
Right. Content warning, surgery, sex work, drugs, transphobia, violence, death. That pretty much covers the entire subject of poetry. Okay, this is by way of a bit of a greatest hits. The surgeons left me with a patchwork cunt, stitch marks and scars, and smooth skin flayed from thigh. I bled. I oozed. With speculums I'd try to burn new keloids off. I'd grope and hunt for small hard bits I'd missed that now are smooth. Things levelled out. You'd never know the sore, torn places that were there. For an old whore, it's sweet and neat and innocent as truth. I paid in blood and pus. Here's what I got. Not some mere hole, but tenderness. A maze of flesh love's fingers have explored for days and found its spring, gushing and furnace hot. I dared not hope. Yet my reward was this, to hang in ecstasy on sweet girl kiss. This one's called For My Transdyke Sisters. Perhaps excessive neatness or a scar that spirals round the hood. You press your lips against it and she squirms, and with her hips, and you lose track a moment. We all are so prone to giggles of astonished joy that what was hard won was a total gain. Fingers force inner scars, a little pain, but worth it. She is wet. Let's not be coy. Some of us love our sisters. On a date saves time. You can avoid the big reveal. They told us we were sick. Here's how we heal. Here's how their storms of self-contempt abate. We bite and lick and groan in sweet surprise, then check our lip gloss in each other's eyes. My dead Berlin sisters. Poured drinks in bars, perhaps, or sold a dance to drunk dare men, or sung in small reviews, or whored, of course. If not the life they choose in perfect world, at least it was a chance to be themselves. If just for those few years, jazz, cocaine, glamour, Charleston, shimmer gown, and permits that would let you strut through town quite legal. And they paid for it in tears. The cute red bob shaved down until it bled. The quarry on the wire, the random shot. You got to be the girl they say you're not. The club, the boot, the bullet to the head. We may not last. So, dance, fuck, every night you can. And when they come for you, scratch, bite. This is a poem to transphobes. No matter what, my people will endure. Kill us, imprison us, carve up our brain. Out of your children we are born again. Erase our past and future, but be sure we are among you, and we'll find a way to know ourselves in fragments from the past constructed truths. You think you have locked fast the doors of memory. Your world is grey, lacks savour. We, umami of the soul, palate remembers, taste it never knew. Your angry grandchildren will stare at you. Carve us from world, and you will leave a hole. Negative space describes all we were. They fill it with new flesh. He, him, she, her. Ridley Road, 1981. Maz in black silk, under a leather coat, crushed hat over one eye, she's platinum, teased with a tail comb, white cloud, and we come, Vivi the redhead, scarf around her throat, high step, her fluid gestures, legs and arms, knee warmers, and that single awful scar, her elbow. Kelly's sultry smirk. We are buying late night kebabs, and never harms come near us, for they wouldn't fucking dare. Protected by the nothing left to lose, sisters in cuts and pills and all we choose. I'm young, thin, quite good looking, and was there, and am in memory transformed to rhyme, this lasting fragment of the great good time. This is a slightly longer one. This is an elegy for Stacey. Never my friend. We shared an overlap of people and of bars. We sometimes talked, though neither of us ever would have walked across a bar so we could talk some more. She was the posh one, and there wasn't space for two with glass voices. She'd a face all cheekbones and hauteur, and she was thin, no, not as thin as later. Wore a dress as the designer meant it, more or less, while I had to accessorize at best with belts and scarves. That time that Ossie Clark asked who had made my outfit in the dark, it was one of his. She had the ease of looks and charm, the sort of arrogance that puts the people round you in a trance when they do what you want. She'd raise a brow, and waiters served her first. And men would queue to talk to her, and pretty women too. They bought her drinks and clothes and fine cocaine, and sometimes she would smile and make her pick of those she'd fuck. Our surgeon made her sick, and she had pain that wouldn't go away. She paid for drugs by whoring, had to take drugs to bear whoring. Witty, couldn't make a joke that you'd remember the next day. She nearly died. Black gunk came from her ears, and she was sick and spectral all those years that she had left. She spent those years content with having little. She still had the charm, but tempered with humility and calm, and she was loved each day until she died. Tragic fast killed her, tedious to run through mistakes she made, and clerks and doctors too. She lay for weeks somewhere just outside life, her friends around her comforting her wife, and one day stopped. She'd asked her closest friend to make sure she was lovely at the end and paid her lips and lashes, cut her hair. I couldn't help with that, but I was there to witness. As I bear this witness now, I cared, not as a friend. I don't know how to say why, save I feel that this is owed to her, my chance companion on the road. Can I do one more? Yes. This, I'm afraid, is a slightly disreputable poem about stuff that young trans women used to do to survive. Glow always said, you wait for them to glance, and then you smile, but only with your lips, best not show any teeth. Don't move your hips, stand still. It's like a really complex dance they always have to lead. You can't afford anything they could use if it's a bust and not a punter. Obviously you can't trust the pigs, they lie, but take it very slow. If it's a punter, they anticipate, get hot and bothered, always make them wait. They stammer slightly, sweat, that's how you know it's not a copper. There's that little sheen under their nose, or sometimes it's between their eyebrows. Then they ask, and what they say needs to be quite explicit. Walk away unless they use the words. And if there's two, you leave. They might be pigs or one's the friend who might ask awkward questions at the end. And when they ask how much, you first explain that you need cash up front to get the key and other things come later. Then you'll see if he has fallen for it. It's a pain, but always ditch him if you're out of luck. And he suspects he might get violent. Not worth a beating just to pay the rent. Wear flats and get his cash. Then run like fuck.
Roz Caveni, our headliner, everyone. Please make more noise than you can. Fuck, I mean, like, what do you do after that, right? You know, we stand here as a generation who owe more to Roz and her generation than we know. And beyond the point of rights and fighting and all that sort of stuff, when you watch somebody get on stage and use the phrase patchwork cunt immediately, it makes you remember how fucking brave we're allowed to be. Because I'm scared shitless a lot of the time. And that moment alone will sit with me. Because we're allowed to be brave and we're allowed to be creative, we're allowed to be fucking funny and sexy and do whatever the fuck we want. And Roz is fucking proof of all of that. All right, we got no more talking, and fuck, I don't think anybody will want to follow anyway, so that's great news. I just need to do some thank yous. Firstly, seriously, I mean this. Thank you for helping us make history tonight. The plan, I think, is to do this every year, and we'll be back. Thank you so much to this incredible venue and the team here who let us come in and do it. You know, Common Press is an interesting place in terms of how bold the support is. Come and buy some fucking books after this, all right? I know all of you are just watching TikToks. Did I sound old? Also, look, I need a favour from you all. Edit, we're going to be very careful about this. Something that maybe you don't realise if you don't play the game, quite like myself and Marty do, is that someone has to pay for inclusion. All right? And it's fucking shit. Because a bunch of companies do shit that we don't agree with, and we turn down money. I hope you all know that. All right? So, can we just, for me and Marty and everybody else involved, this is where you cut. Can we have a huge round of applause to our corporate sponsors, Deloitte, please? And thank you, Diageo, for the drinks and all of our support as well. And just fucking thank you. Let's all hang out and have a chat and celebrate all the amazing talent in this room, whether they're on stage or not. And just thank you to everyone involved, even to the point of security. Thank you for keeping us safe, everyone, right? Woo! This is for you. This is for you. Also, I don't know if anybody noticed, but some dickhead walked past with his shirt off, and I said him. It's definitely a him, right? I know we're not meant to presume, but it was a him. And I had this moment where Roz is sitting in this chair doing the most beautiful shit, and the crowd is going like that. And I'm thinking, Roz can't see behind her, everyone. Roz, there was some dickhead behind you. No one was swearing at you. Look, thank you so much. Marty, is there anything you want to say before we finish up?
Oh my God, isn't June amazing? Fucking hell. Isn't this fucking, you're just wonderful, June. I just want to thank June so much for hosting this evening. They've been incredible with everything. They made the poster. They've done so much for Trans History Week. So please just give June an amazing round of applause. Thank you. And yeah, thank you all for coming out for the first ever Poetry Night for Trans History Week. I don't think it's going to be the last, so thank you so much.
Right, let's have some fun. And if you're leaving now, leave with a friend, get home safe, do all the right things. And if you need me, I'm going to be somewhere just on the floor having a nap. Cheers! Way!